Hi, I'm Mark McKelvie, Manager of Communications and Content here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and I'm the latest member of my family to get into the harness racing industry.
It's foiled again. He's got the lead. Deep stretch now. He's the Iron Horse. He's a legend. He's foiled again to win at Mohawk Park.
Well, I grew up obviously right around the racetrack here. Both my parents were involved, and for my family it goes back even further than that, multiple generations, but most direct. My grandparents, one side of my family, my mom's father, he raced horses. He had a farm in Dresden, raced horses from London to Windsor and everywhere in between. And on the other side of my family, my grandfather, my dad's side, he was involved in running the racetrack in Owen Sound in the 60s and 70s, and then owned horses for a long time as well. So I get it right through. It's in my blood. Grew up here at the racetrack, and a lot of my earliest memories were right here at Mohawk. Well, like a lot of people, I was born into the industry. My parents, since the time I was born, been working for Woodbine Entertainment. My mom works for Standard Break Canada. My mom, Lori, she's been a field rep with them since I believe the 80s, and has been here at Mohawk Park and Woodbine for quite some time. So came to work with her a lot, and a lot of times there was that changeover where she was coming at night for the races, and my dad, Scott, who's the race secretary and has been since 1993, he would take us home. So I really got it honestly, where my parents were both here and bringing my sister and I around the racetrack right from the time we were born. I think when you're growing up and you're coming to the racetrack all the time, it just kind of becomes routine and it just becomes a part of your life. But for me, probably the memories that stick out the most would be when racing moved to Mohawk in the summertime in the mid-2000s. And I was getting old enough to decide what I wanted to do. I didn't have to tag along with my parents to work or be at home, and I was still making that decision that I wanted to come to the racetrack. And many nights I'd just park myself on the rail right at the finish line with my program and pen. And from there, the bug just, it stuck with me. I was fascinated by all aspects of the industry, and I can remember a lot of summer nights, Fridays and Saturdays, being right there on the rail watching the racing.
Hanover second on the outside, Yankee Skyscaper badly beaten, the driving off winner in Cup 24. Here it is, Jameson and Burgess and Tell-All, celebration time in Cup 24.
Yeah, I don't take it for granted the opportunities that I've had so far. Again, I've only been out of school for almost 6 years now, but right away I landed a position with the communications team at Woodbine Entertainment, and that role has grown, and I've continued to grow in that role over the last almost now 6 years. Day to day, it's a lot about, again, when you're doing communications and media, you're trying to spread the word, you're trying to raise awareness, and you're working towards growing the sport and growing what we're doing here at Woodbine Entertainment. And I think I've seen from where I started to where I am now a lot of growth personally and a lot of growth with this company and where we're trying to take racing. I caught the bug for broadcasting at a young age, and it was actually not through the racetrack but through hockey. And when I was growing up, I did a lot of timekeeping and scorekeeping in Milton, and one year I started doing the timekeeping for the local junior hockey team, and as it would be and as things always seem to turn out, the announcer quit and they just handed me the microphone, and I really enjoyed it, and luckily I was able to take that passion and bring it over here to Woodbine Entertainment. I spent one summer interning doing interviews, and then through my role with the communications department, I've been able to do a lot of work on our simulcast show, call races, and continue to add to my portfolio and to my arsenal and what I can do and what I can bring to the team here.
Hancock passes over to Suzuki. Suzuki across. McKenzie scores! Brett McKenzie, the overtime hero, and the attack come back and win game number 2.
Yeah, I've been with the Owen Sound Attack as a broadcaster with them for 5 seasons now, and it's been an absolute blast. I think that's probably my dream job when I was growing up, was to be calling NHL games, and to have the opportunity to call at a very high level like the Ontario Hockey League is a lot of fun, and I'm fortunate that the team here at Woodbine allows me to pursue that opportunity as well. Calling games, it's something I can remember doing when I was a youngster in front of the TV, or even out in the driveway when you're playing road hockey and you're announcing to yourself. So I have a lot of fun doing that, and I personally think I have the best of both worlds, being able to work in harness racing and in hockey. A lot of people ask probably why I haven't taken sort of that plunge into doing broadcasting full time, and I think it's being able to be kind of behind the scenes and put everything together here, being a part of what brings live racing here at Woodbine Mohawk Park together, and whether that's our major events or just day-to-day racing, I like being involved in the decision-making process and seeing things through. I think that's one of the best parts of my job, is being in that planning stage, coming up with an idea, working with others, and that's the other thing. I love working with people, I love socializing, and we've got a great team here. So it's a lot of fun when you do see that plan come together, and whether it's a big event like the Breeders' Crown, for example, that to me is some of the biggest thrills, is just seeing it all come together and all go off without a hitch. A lot of times getting away from the racetrack for me is going to other racetracks. You know, a lot of vacations turn into where's the local track and can we check it out? But it is something that I adjusted to early on, and it's something that I adjusted to before I even got this job, was that when you work in an industry like this, or the sports industry, it's not a regular schedule, it's not routine, and never once have I ever complained about not having Saturday nights off or anything like that. If I did have a Saturday night off, I'd probably find myself at the racetrack. So because of that, I've never been disappointed that you have to miss events here and there, but ultimately this is where I want to be, and I'm very happy to be here.
For Lindblom ahead, then got it back over for
Favorite broadcaster for me, I probably, on the hockey side of things, I've always idolized Doc Emmerich. Calls games for NBC. The way that he tells the story with his own unique flair, I'm definitely a big fan of his, but ultimately I like to take little bits from different broadcasters and kind of create my own style. I don't think you can imitate one person, it doesn't work that way, but you can pick up pieces, you can learn from every single broadcaster out there. I think there's a big opportunity in harness racing to gain younger fans. I think the future is bright, but I think we have to be willing to change, and we have to be able to take things from other industries and see what they're doing to attract younger people. Working in media, social media is so huge, and we have to make sure we're taking full advantage of it. We're trying our best here at Woodbine Entertainment, and sometimes, as we've all learned in this industry, people can be afraid of change, but if you can make a good case and you can show that the results are going to turn out, I think we have a big opportunity here. But as a young person, I'm always trying to introduce my friends to the races, and when you do bring them to the track and you see them start to understand it, it can be complicated, it can be really intimidating, but when you see it start to click and they start to understand a little bit of it and maybe start to catch that bug, there's no better feeling than that. And I know they've always said, where's that next generation going to come from? But I think as long as we stay up with the times, it'll find us.